Here's what I think about BMI.
Overrated as fuck, in my opinion.
Welcome back, YouTube. David here. Got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. So today's topic, we're going to be going over BMI. What exactly is it? It's body mass index. What it comes down to, it's a ratio between your overall body weight and your height for your specific age. So apparently if you're this age and you're this tall, you should be weighing this much. But here's what I think about BMI.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck, in my opinion.
Yeah, as you can tell, I got mixed opinions about BMI. I think it's a little too overrated for what exactly it is. I think doctors hype it up and rely too much on it for the general population, but more details on that to come. So first off, how would you calculate your BMI? First things first, take your weight in kilograms divided by height squared in meters. But if you live in the United States and you're too good to use the metric system, then go ahead, take your body weight in pounds, divide by your height squared in inches, and then multiply by 703. Boom. Once you get that number calculated, you can go ahead and look up any BMI chart, find your age, and then try to figure out what number you would be categorized depending on what you calculate. So it will place you under, overweight, obese, fine, whatever. You can see the number and where you will fall under. Now, here's where I think it's a little bit too controversial. It takes your overall body weight into consideration, but it doesn't account for what specifically is making up that overall weight. Is it body fat? Is it muscle mass? Bone mass? There's so many things that contribute to your overall body weight. There's different tissues in your bodies that have different densities. So for only your overall weight to be considered when calculating it, and then for the possibility to be placed under the overweight or obese category is unfair. Because what if someone has a very high muscle mass and then they're really short? Well, then most likely they're going to be placed under overweight or obese based on just the calculation and ratio between their height and their weight. But it's not taking into account that they're very muscular. That's the reason why their number is shooting up. So why is this so important? Because muscle outweighs fat. So obviously the number is going to be driven up. To put in perspective, right here, this is a little model of 1 pound of muscle. So as you can see, if I were to put it next to my head, this is roughly how big compared to the size of my hand. Okay, so 1 pound of muscle. Now let's go with 1 pound of fat. You can see there's quite a big difference. So I would say the pound of fat is right around the size of a grapefruit, pretty decent size. And then the 1 pound of muscle is right around, I don't know, I'd say maybe a little bit smaller than an orange, maybe a little bit bigger than like a mandarin, like the little cuties. Just to put in perspective, all right? 1 pound muscle, 1 pound of fat. So imagine a person who weighs 160 pounds and is 5'9", average height. All right, but they're very lean and they got a bunch of these little guys right here. All right, they're very muscular of 160 pounds. Now let's take another person who's also 5'9", but 160 pounds as well, but they don't have as much muscle mass. So their weight you would assume is lower, but they got a lot of these. They got a higher percentage of body fat, so that's why they weigh 160 pounds as well. Two people, same height, same weight, one muscular, one fat. Obviously their BMI is going to be staying the same because the weight is just weight, all right? It's just taking your overall mass, but it's not considering what exactly is making up that mass. So if we're just going by BMI standards at the doctor's office, both of those people would be placed under the same category when it's clear that one of them needs to do something about that weight, that appearance, and the other person is fit. That's why I have such a big problem with BMI. So for when I have a lot of clients that say, oh man, my BMI is high, and I look at them like, I can tell you're fit. I wouldn't be worrying about BMI if I were you. I can tell you have a lot of muscle mass. I can tell you don't have that much fat. It's just the fact that muscle outweighs fat. That's the reason why the number's shooting up, because it's increasing your body weight. So next time you go to the doctor's office or you hear anyone telling you that your BMI is high, well, look a little deeper. Instead of just focusing on BMI, maybe you can go on a BIA or any BIA scale or the handheld ones. calculate that, so at least it could give you a certain percentage of what your body fat is, and it could break it down into a little bit more details about what your overall body weight is being made up of. If you're that specific about it, focus just on the body fat, focus just on the muscle mass. But for me personally, I wouldn't focus too much on just overall body weight and BMI, because it's not breaking up what that overall weight is being made out of. Another thing to take into consideration, if you have very thick bones, if your bones are just very dense, that could also shoot up your body weight. What if you just have a naturally thin frame, but your bones themselves are very dense? That's going to shoot up your body weight, so it might put you under the overweight category when it's clear that, you know, you're just relatively thin. So bottom line is, I think BMI might be a little bit overrated, unless you're very overweight or very obese where that number is just through the roof. Then okay, in that situation, that's when I would listen to it, and that's when I think it would be appropriate to focus on the overall number and then lower your weight, so that way it lowers your BMI. But if you're not in that category, then I will focus specifically more on just regular body fat percentage or just overall lean muscle mass. Those should be the things that should be taken into account. I just wanted to clear that out there. Not saying to completely ignore it, but that's just my honest opinion of what I think about it. But whatever, who am I to say? I'm just a personal trainer, all right? Go consult with your doctor. Go talk to them. They're more qualified to talk about that than I am. If there's any other fitness advice that you want me to go over, any other videos you want me to go more in depth about, comment it down below. I'll be more than happy to do so, as long as I stay within my scope of practice. Again, take all this with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion. I'm just a personal trainer. Go talk to your doctor. They know more about this shit than I do. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to not just this channel, but my girlfriend's and our couples accounts together. And then for Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Subscribe, or not subscribe, follow both of those accounts, and then the couples one as well. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.